这都烫手拿不住，我靠！
我的干也可。
Woman, this is killing me. A power outage on such a hot day. Man, in this scorching heat, if you have air conditioning, use it. If not, turn on a fan. Don't let yourself get heat stroke. It's better to give your money to the power company than to the hospital, because one bill, he likely means a 100 yuan note, can last several days with electricity, but one hospital visit will cost you several bills. Man, 8 people in a dorm room, a campus of 100 acres. Where can you find a cool spot? I tell myself to stay calm and you'll feel cool. But walking into the dorm feels like stepping into a sauna. I bet this summer will last even longer. Recently, many parts of China have been experiencing extremely hot weather. Man, people keep asking if it's hot in Henan. Look at this. You tell me, is it hot or not? Even electric scooters are melting in the sun. Man, let me show you how hot it really is. This is corn. He rubs it a few times on the concrete ground and it pops. See that? It just turned into popcorn. Still think it's not hot enough? Some poultry farmers are also trying to cool their chickens down. Man, the outdoor temperature is 40.5 degrees, 105 degrees. We hauled in a truckload of ice blocks to cool the chicken coop. Chicks, feeling better now? While people are already suffering, another consequence of the extreme heat has hit: power outages. The weather is already unbearably hot, but a sudden power outage can seriously disrupt daily life. In Zibo City, Shandong Province, one residential complex lost power. Woman, on a day this hot, the Sakura Garden residential complex in Zhangdian, Zibo had a blackout. Did your neighborhood lose power too? Even the elevators are out. How are we supposed to climb 20 floors? It sounds like a joke, but when the power goes out, residents really do have to climb the stairs. Woman, the power's out in our building. Oh my God, I'm exhausted from climbing stairs. And I've only made it to the 6th floor. Gotta keep going. Getting married is one of the 4 great joys in life. But if there's a power outage at your wedding, it can be incredibly frustrating. Woman, friends, I'm getting married today, and the hotel hosting the wedding just lost power. It's already been over an hour, and the afternoon's about to begin. No one knows when the electricity will come back. This is such a disaster. Another unexpected problem caused by the heat wave is spontaneous combustion of items and vehicles. Man, the solar panels on the rooftop just caught fire. Look at that! Oh my God, the flames are out of control. The solar panels are burning. This is footage of an electric vehicle catching fire on its own. Woman, he has a fire extinguisher. Where did he get it from? That extinguisher is so small, it's not enough. We need to bring a few more over. Did anyone call 119? Oh my, this is terrifying. Ironically, right above the burning vehicle, through the thick black smoke, you can clearly see a sign across the street. It displays the Chinese Communist Party flag and reads, Party Masses Service Center. For the CCP, this is a very ominous sign. But for Chinese people who have suffered under the party for so long, it's actually a good omen. Man, these new energy vehicles are really something. The battery caught fire, and I thought, luckily there's a pond nearby, so I pushed the car into the water to put out the fire and hopefully reduce some of the losses. But after 10 minutes underwater, the EV was still smoking like crazy. Then I reached into the water and realized the water had boiled. A moving electric tricycle also caught fire by itself. Man, your vehicle's on fire. Your tricycle is on fire. Your tricycle is on fire. Your tricycle is on fire. And it's not just electric vehicles that spontaneously combust under extreme heat. Even police cars have caught fire. Man, is there a fire extinguisher? A fire extinguisher. As the saying goes, fire and ice in one land. While some regions bake under the heat, others are being battered by wild winds and heavy rains. This is footage of the floods in Yunnan province. Man, that person just got swept away by the water. Man, Oh my God, please come over and take a look. I've suffered such huge losses. Just watch the video for me. I was saying I was going from here. Oh my God. After the floods receded, people were left to deal with utter devastation. Man, look at my shop. The flood completely wiped it out. This is real footage of Fubao ancient town in Luzhou City, Sichuan province, being hit by the floods. This was what it looked like half an hour before the flood struck. Just 30 minutes later, the water had completely filled the space under the bridge. An hour later, the entire bridge was submerged. Woman. Houses here have been washed away, and the flood destroyed the bridge. Now there's no bridge left. Man. Fubao ancient town is in terrible shape. Look, everything's underwater. The water is really deep. A villager struggled to climb onto the rooftop, waiting desperately for outside rescue. Man, oh no, come save us. There's nothing we can do. Look, we're standing on the rooftop. We're on the rooftop. On July 9th, Mangchuan ancient town in Shanyang County, Shangluo City, Shanxi province was suddenly hit by the largest flood in its recorded history, submerging many residents' homes and shops. Man, hurry back, don't go over there. Woman, oh my God. Mutai town in Guizhou province was also struck by a major flood. Man, breaking news. Today, Mutai town is experiencing a massive flood that started this morning and has continued until now. The water level has already risen to an extremely dangerous height. Across from here is the Moutai distillery. If the water rises any further, it will soon flood the distillery. Woman, look at the reception area. Just a few more meters and it'll be underwater. The flood peak is coming. Down below, they've already set up cordon lines everywhere. Man, only by being here can you truly grasp the ferocity of this flood. This is the most severe flood peak Moutai town has seen in nearly 30 years, without a doubt. Let me show you that over there is the office of the chairman of Moutai Distillery. Look at how high the water is. It's reached the base of the embankment. My God, the water is still rising. And this is before the actual flood peak arrives. I'll show you the comparison when the flood peak hits. It's absolutely shocking. A netizen on the scene captured footage of Moutai town submerged in floodwater, sped up 10 times. Some say this is the largest flood peak Moutai town has seen in nearly 50 years. As we enter 2025, natural and man-made disasters have been hitting all across mainland China. While people are already struggling under a deteriorating economy, they now have to face waves of disasters as well, leaving them utterly exhausted in both body and spirit. As the saying goes, disasters abound at the end of dynasties. Living in these chaotic times, we hope our fellow compatriots in the land of China take a moment to reflect on their reality. Why do disasters keep coming one after another? This is the bitter consequence brought upon the people by those in power, the Chinese Communist Party, whose rule has brought ruin to the nation and suffering to its people.
By June 2025, China's economy had spiraled to the brink of collapse. Xi Jinping's so-called rescue policies had been in place for over 6 months. Yet across the country, factories stayed silent, shopping malls emptied out, and joblessness soared. Millions of young graduates couldn't find work. Once stable middle-class families were falling into bankruptcy. Savings had dried up, spending had stopped, and despair was spreading like wildfire. On his YouTube program, commentator Toronto Squareface sounded the alarm. China is now trapped in a full-blown deflationary crisis. The May CPI fell again, by a war of 1%, the fourth straight month of decline. The PPI plunged to 3.3%, its lowest in nearly 2 years. The rescue plan has utterly failed, he declared. But this isn't just about bad economic decisions. The real problem is systemic. China's authoritarian model sucks wealth upward, crushes the private sector, and leaves ordinary people with nothing. While officials brag about stability, the truth is undeniable. The economy is collapsing from the inside out. Failure of rescue policy Toronto Squareface noted that ever since China's economic downturn began in 2020, Xi Jinping has rolled out multiple waves of rescue measures. But time and again, the results have disappointed. The most recent measures in October 2024 were supposed to spark consumption and jumpstart growth. But the CPI remained in negative territory. Even worse, the continued PPI slide underscored collapsing industrial activity. China is now staring down its worst deflation crisis since 2023. Toronto Squareface blamed the collapse of rescue efforts on both Xi Jinping's misjudgments and deeper systemic flaws. He criticized Xi for ignoring early warning signs and failing to act until October 2024, far too late. But he argued the problem isn't just one of ignorance. Xi has no shortage of economic advisors. Instead, the real issue lies in the dictatorship structure itself, a regime that prioritizes control over competence. The amplifying effect of unfair distribution. As China's economy cools, social inequality is becoming impossible to ignore. Commentator Toronto Squareface highlighted the viral Talented Women controversy involving figures like Dong Xinying and Huangyang Tiantian as a public outcry against nepotism and corrupt privilege. Quoting a study on China's county-level political ecosystem, he revealed a stark reality. Children of government officials routinely land elite positions in finance and taxation, while ordinary citizens are funneled into under-resourced sectors like agriculture and water management. This imbalance isn't new, but the explosive growth of the past masked it. Between 1979 and 2020, the number of civil service jobs more than doubled from 3.7 million to 8 million, creating a window for upward mobility. But now, with growth stagnating and new job opportunities shrinking, nepotism intensifies and the injustice hits harder than ever. Toronto's Squareface even cited Xi Jinping's own political rise as an example of privilege in action. Appointed deputy mayor of Xiamen at age 33, thanks to his father, Xi Zhongxun. In an era of booming growth, these things were tolerated. But as the economy slows, public anger toward favoritism and inequality is surging. People have shifted from chasing opportunity to fighting over limited resources, and the cracks in the system are widening. The market rescue dilemma: high extraction versus low redistribution. Toronto Square face blasted Xi Jinping's economic rescue plans for repeating the same extractive logic that caused the crisis. Facing sluggish consumption, the government offered superficial stimulus, handouts, subsidies, bailouts, while avoiding deeper reforms like tax cuts or lowering social security contributions. For comparison, he noted that Chinese companies pay significantly higher social insurance than their Taiwanese counterparts, leaving employees with thinner paychecks. Cutting those costs could boost spending immediately, but doing so would threaten civil servant salaries and veteran cadre pensions, the very pillars of Xi's regime. The system protects itself, even at the cost of collapse. Worse still, while Beijing holds the purse strings, local governments are broke. Many can't even pay salaries, resorting to absurd tactics like cross-province law enforcement fines, fishing in distant seas just to stay afloat. The central government has the cash but refuses to share it, fearing local corruption. Toronto Squareface called this imbalance rich center, poor provinces, proof that autocracy simply cannot distribute wealth fairly, no matter how much it hoards. The way forward, from growth to fairness. Toronto Squareface argued that the only viable path forward is a bold pivot, from chasing GDP growth to prioritizing fair redistribution. He calculated that if China raises the share of household income from 40% to 60% of GDP over a decade, even a modest 3.5% GDP growth rate could deliver 7.8% annual gains in disposable income, matching the golden years of 2008 to 2019. On the other hand, if China clings to the extractive model, even 4% GDP growth would feel like recession, with incomes rising just 2.5 to 3.5%. He emphasized that democracies outperform dictatorships in delivering fair distribution, thanks to public pressure through voting. Though he stopped short of calling democracy a cure-all, he insisted that no other system has proven more capable of sharing wealth. Xi Jinping, trapped in the exploitative logic of dictatorship, is structurally incapable of achieving real fairness, which is why his economic rescue efforts are doomed to fail. Toronto Squareface concluded that China's current crisis is a direct result of its high extraction, low distribution model. In the past, concentrating power made it easy to build bridges and skyscrapers. But now, as China nears developed nation status, the economy demands something else: fairness, not force. Xi Jinping's subsidies may offer temporary relief, but they can't fix the system's broken foundations. Without fundamental reform to ensure fair redistribution, China cannot escape its economic trap. And in today's world, that kind of fairness is where democracy holds the advantage.